Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Sam, your favorite loan broker. Guys, if this is your first time here, I'm here to educate individuals on why you should buy a house now and all the documents you need in order to get ready, in order to get 100% approval, right? Guys, today's video is about most likely co-signing what I've been saying and a misinformation that's out there that a lot of lenders, consultants, and managers have been telling the internet or America, right? So in one part, you're going to hear the variables on why you should buy a house and what's against you. And the reason all of that is because you're not qualified, guys. And I'm here to help you guys and educate you on how to get qualified so you can buy a home to help your financial future. Guys, once again, my video is not about buying a home. That's not what it's mainly about. It's about the individual that's living paycheck to paycheck, $5 or less over minimum wage, and trying to figure out how do I get ahead. And guys, I know I'm speaking to the internet. If you look at my channel, let's just say I had 100,000 subscribers, and 100,000 subscribers are asking, Sam, the information that you're saying, can 100,000 of us use it, apply it, buy it, and benefit from it? Yes. The reason why is every year there's 3 to 4 million homes that banks acquire that have a headache of inventory that they're trying to figure out, how do we sell this? What do we do? So the information I'm telling you, it's not far-fetched. It's not something you're going to go and do it and say, man, it's only 10% of what he said. It's not possible or is saturated. No, guys, there's actually enough information and enough home inventory in order for 100,000, if you listen to this right now, can buy a home. And believe it or not, 100,000 people every month that follows my information on how to package your documents to get approved for a home. And I want you to buy a home with Mortgage Math. So let's jump into the video, guys.
That we're in. If you know me, I've been bantering about this for freaking ever. I could not agree more with what the summary there is, which is that we are in a housing crisis. We have a housing crisis in the United States of America, and people were not talking about it enough, and now they are. Thank God for that. Trump administration potentially issuing a national state of emergency for the housing crisis in the United States, and this is something that I want everyone to understand. I was just browsing some comments on a social media post that was dismissing this and downplaying this, and this is not a political opinion whatsoever. This is a boots on the ground. I'm seeing this every single day from someone who has sold a lot of real estate and also mentors real estate agents across the country. I ask them at the top of every call that we do, I feel like I ask, how is the market in your area? For the last 5 years, I've been asking this. And here's the thing. If you're an older millennial, meaning you're between the ages of 35 and 45, and you don't own a home right now, no matter where you live, whether you're in Boise, Idaho, Des Moines, Iowa, South Florida, it is damn near impossible to be able to buy a house right now if you don't currently own a home. If you missed the boat and the opportunity to buy a home before 2020, and then you missed the low interest rates of 2020, let's say for whatever reason you just weren't able to buy a home, and now you're renting still at the age of 40, and you have children and you have mouths to feed, and you're paying, let's say $2,500 a month in rent, okay? And you make $75,000 a year, which is a great income. You make $75,000 a year, paying $2,500 in rent. That of your $5,000 a month check after taxes, let's say, and that's being modest, after taxes, that leaves you with living expenses, and that leaves you with nothing to put away in savings. Okay, so the average home price in America right now is between $400,000 and $600,000 depending on where you live. In order to buy a $400,000 house, you have to have a 20% down payment, which means you have to come up with $80,000 to put into savings.
Guys, you see what she just said? I've been saying this all the time. When I used to be in an office where it used to be a cubicle of about like 8 of us answering phone calls, right? The average consultant, manager, lender rep, they want clients that's calling to put down 10% down, and anywhere to have 10% down in cash to buy a home and 5% closing. And I don't mean to say it this way, but they want that type of client calling or coming in the bank in order to approve for a home. Why? Any other variable, they know it's a headache. It's kind of those it's hard to close the deal. So then what they're telling everyone is 10% down. Guys, I mean, no, I'm sorry, 20% down, she said. So that means if you're buying, she's going to break it down. Listen.
And the issue, the housing crisis that we're in right now is people are not taking into consideration when they're looking at, putting away $80,000 to be able to, have a down payment for a house, that insurance is only going up because of what just happened in California and in the Carolinas and here in Florida. The insurance crisis is so real. So you have to take that into consideration. You have to basically find an extra $1,000 a month just to be able to pay for your insurance. And then when you look at this $80,000 that you have to save up to be able to afford a 20% down payment, yes, there are loan programs that exist.
Now, you heard what she said? 20% down. Guys, the reason why they keep saying this is people do not have their documents in order to get the 3.5% or the 1%, guys. I don't mean to say this. Someone that's calling me that want to buy a home that has 20% down, it's the deal is closed. You're getting a home. But now the individual that doesn't have the 20% down, that only has 5%, 4%, or the 3.5 that we actually approve on, you guys don't have the right documents. Like the 3.5, the 5%, the 1% is just not given. The banks isn't turning you away because you do have money to buy the house. There's a certain amount of documents they need in order to get the deal done. So my channel is about educating you guys. Whoever's watching this, if in 6 months or 1 year, or maybe you might be ready in 2 months, that once you get these documents, then you call me, then you broker the deal through me where I help you. You're getting into a house, guys, with 3.5 or 1%. But if you wait, she's going to give more information on saying if you wait, the downside of it.
That are less than that, but let's just say you don't qualify for those. This applies to so many Americans. So when these stats come up that there are 700,000 people across the United States that are homeless right now, that number is only going to get greater and greater and greater if we can't empower millennials to be able to buy a house. Here's what's going to happen. Those millennials that are now, 45 years old are going to turn 65 years old, 75 years old. And what's going to happen if they don't have a house, if they've been renting this entire time, when it comes time to retire, they can't do a reverse mortgage. They won't have anything in savings because they've been dumping money into rent this entire time. They are not building equity in a home. Right now, if you ask any real estate agent, they're selling homes across the country. We're having one of the best years we've ever had here at Meier Lucas. But what we're doing is we're selling homes to buyers who are exiting another home and buying, like they're taking the equity from one home and rolling it into the next. Meaning that, and that's part of the American dream, right? But the issue that we have is so many of these millennials who graduated high school and college after the recession and just were fighting for their lives to put any kind of money in savings. They were paying off student loan debt. They were slapped with the regulation that they have to buy health insurance. These millennials have no money in savings and have no ability to even buy a home. And that is what the housing crisis is about.
Now, guys, you see how she said they have no ability to buy a home? My channel, I'm yelling from the top of my lungs. There's actually a system. It may sound weird, and this is because you don't know it. Guys, let me break something simple down. There's actually 3 types of approval in order for an individual to buy a home. One is where you're working and 50% of your income gets you the house. That's one. Another part of it where it's called asset-based lending. What that means is the home is generating money and then you're just jumping right in. But what do you mean by that, Sam? Guys, if there's a 3-family house and there's 2 tenants there, and each tenant is paying $2,500. That's $5,000 a month that 3-family home is generating. And now here you come only making $900 a month, and you say, well, I want to buy this 3-family home because you're going to live in 1 unit and the other 2 units are generating money. Let's just say you have bad credit and only make $800 a month. You guys don't know, with the right documents that I'm trying to get you guys in order to partner with me so you can buy a home to help your financial pockets, you can get the home. That's called asset-based lending. But guess what? When you guys call me, you don't have the documents. When you call someone like her, you don't have the documents. So now, unfortunately, what they end up telling you is like, okay, well, have 20% down next time and do better and call me back. And The banking system is not there to educate you. This information that I'm telling you, if you look at all my videos, the majority of my videos are long compared to YouTube algorithm. Guys, if someone was supposed to walk in and my bank manager or supervisor is there and I'm spending 1 hour educating you guys on how to buy a home, they're going to tell me, Sam, it's best that you move on to another client. The system is not there to educate you in order to tell you all the different variables to get a home. What we're there to do is you walk in, you give us documents, we look at those documents, we run it through a calculator and let you know if you approve or how much you approve for. That's it. It's not there to educate you on 8 different ways to buy a home. Let me continue this video.
Go back and some of my videos, I've been talking about this literally for the last 3 years. Here's the thing, the government can't tell someone who bought their house for $90,000 and is now selling it for $600,000 that they can't take that gain. Of course, they can tax capital gains and, but they can't tell them that you can't sell your house for that much money. So opening up land to be able to build homes that are affordable is 100% the move and what the government should be doing and is potentially doing. Manipulating interest rates is definitely something that can be done. But still, manipulating interest rates doesn't change the fact that you still need, in order to buy a $400,000 house, which is modest, like that is a modest home, you still have to have an $80,000 down.
Not true.
And I would like you to tell me how you find $80,000 if you're making $100,000 a year and you're having to spend $3,000 a month on rent, which is like average at this point for, a family type home. Where are you going to come up with $100,000 unless you win the lottery?
I don't mean to say this, guys. Here's the thing. I don't know this lady's situation, right? I don't. But now there is something called statistics, right? Statistics is a number thing. I don't know it. I'm coming up with it. This lady speaking probably came from a home with 2 parents. Maybe, I don't know her situation, but hear me out. She probably comes from a home with 2 parents that bought a house. That when it's her turn to buy a house, which this happens, when it's her turn to buy a house, her parents have a house, her parents probably sent her to college, her first job that she got a year or 2 years later, she saved up $60,000 of her check living at home with her parents, and now she has the $80,000 or $100,000 down. She has it. Because why? Her parents own a house. She could have stayed at her parents' house comfortably. The parents have equity in the house in order to send her daughter to college. And now 2 years, she saved up $100,000 and buying a house comfortably. But for the other person that did not get that starting point, for the other person, life hit you when you was 20 years old, when you was 21 and you had to start paying rent and cannot save. You're trying to figure out, I'm never going to buy a house with this system. Guys, there's actually, like I said, I'm yelling from the top of my lungs. There's an abundance of information and inventory. You guys are just not qualified. Let me continue the video.
Or you become independently wealthy in some way. So that is why this is a housing crisis. I stand by this. This is regardless of where you stand politically, because by the way, this to me is the most bipartisan thing. This impacts everybody. This impacts everybody. In our area in South Florida, we see a lot of people that are getting money from their parents to be able to buy homes, and I love that for them. But the way that their parents are getting money is because they've either stockpiled it because they were able to buy a home in the 90s or in the early 2000s or in the 80s, and they're taking lines of credit against their home, and they can do that. That's fine because their home, they bought it, for $100,000. Now it's worth $1 million, so they're able to help their kids. But if you don't have help from your parents savings were decimated during the recession. You don't have help from your parents. You don't have help from anyone. You don't have outside help financially, which is totally normal. That is the American dream, is making your own money and getting after it and being able to buy a house. The American dream does not exist for a huge chunk of America. What's going to happen is that these millennials are going to continue to get older.
Guys, what she just said, if I was listening to it and I did not know the information I said, what I know, I would believe her. If you rewind the video, she said she'd been doing this thing for 10 or 20 years. Someone 20 years that I've been doing this loan broker thing for about 6 or 7 years, right? And I'm noticing the people that we don't get approved, guys, the people that we get approved is about 20%. And the other 80, there's not a system to educate them or to tell them, listen, 6 months or a year, this is what you need to do to prepare. Or to where I'll tell someone, hey guys, we're going to give you this home. 2% more interest. And then you're trying to say, wow, that's bad. No, with mortgage math. Because guys, if you can't put away $1,000 a month, but yet a home that's generating $5,000 a month with a mortgage of 4,000, and so that means you're either putting away 1,000 or setting aside 1,000 for repairs or whatever needed. You would be living rent free. So whatever check you're getting for the year is actually rent free. Why? Because you're entering in a home that's already generating money. Asset-based lending. And guys, there's millions of homes out there like that. I'm here to educate you guys. And on my private platform, that's where I educate people with more info. It sounds weird, guys. I cannot educate you on a free platform about a company's inventory, on how they do things. I spoke to the company, the managers. They said, Sam, you can't put an ad or give information, even if it's right, about our company and how people approve, because we need to know, we need to pass it by our financial advisors through our ad company. So it's not just I say, this is the bank, this is what you need, this is their inventory, go and buy it. I could get into legal problems by doing that. The system is you run it by their company. Guys, just to give you a little rundown. You ever see a pharmaceutical ad where it says this helps with this symptom, but it gives you this XYZ. You may have nosebleeds, you may have irregular menstrual cycle, you may be dizzy or falling. And all those things legally they must say in an ad. That's why I'm bound, my hands are wrapped by saying things on free platforms. We must go to my private chat room, private platform to where I educate you guys about this. Let's finish this video, guys.
That Gen Z can't even sniff affording to buy a house right now. Like, it's like not even within the realm of possibility. But these millennials are going to continue to get older, and what's going to happen is they're going to turn 65, 75, 85 years old, and they're not going to be able to work anymore, and they're going to have, Social Security, like, that's great, but that is not going to carry them into the rest of their lives if they live to be 105. It's just not realistic. You have to own a home. Have been